I don't want to drop him in it, so I won't mention what topic it was. But basically, the way debating works is there's a statement, right? And then one side is for it and the other side is against it. Mm-hmm. And I knew that my brother believed strongly against this statement, but he was actually on the side that was for the statement, right? Mm-hmm. And I was on the opposite side. And we only had a few minutes to prepare for this little thing, and I didn't know what I was talking about, and I quickly wrote down a few little points. And then obviously, because I was the new guy, they were like, right, you're going first. So I got up, deer in the headlights, and I had, I think it must have been like 5 minutes or something to plead my case, why this statement was
true.
Yeah, why I believed in the statement. And I thought, I did a good job, decent job for a layman who'd never done it before. And then my brother gets up and he just roundly trounces me. Like, he doesn't have any notes, he doesn't have any cue cards, anything like it. And I knew, just because I know him, he's my brother, I knew that he didn't believe any of this stuff that was coming out of his mouth, right? Yeah. But it was all the arguments that the opposite side always pick. Mm-hmm. And he was delivering them so well that I was just gobsmacked. I was like, I would have believed that he believed what he was saying.
Sure.
And that is the power of debating. And I saw it that day, and I was like, listening to the opposite side and knowing thinking about devil's advocate and thinking about the points that are against you. Because I think if I was to try and debate on his side, I wouldn't really know what to say because I didn't agree with it. Do you know what I mean? I didn't agree with it. So I almost shut it off, or at least I did at the time, and I wouldn't have known what to say. Whereas because he'd thought about this argument in such great depths from both sides, he found it very easy to switch into the other side and reel off all the things that they always say with, it was quite persuasive, basically.
Sure.
And I got to the end of the debate thinking, oh yeah, maybe I do. Maybe I do agree with him, the opposite side, And then obviously we went to the pub and he was like, oh yeah, that's a load of rubbish. Like, I don't agree with that. But that's, that's the way, that's the way a lot of people think and a lot of people feel. And, it can be persuasive if you don't look at all angles of the argument, And needless to say, he won. And his team won,
Of course. No, I love that story. I do love that story so much because I just think it's so important. And I'm trying to do that more and more, where try and look at it from the other side. Try and just. It's good to have an assumption that possibly the person you're talking to as well may know something you don't.
Exactly.
There is value in looking into the other side effectively and just making your own mind up. That's the whole point of. That's the only way of making your own mind up. Really, is by looking at an argument in its the fullest capacity you can, because otherwise you're just taking information from one side of it. And you haven't made your mind up there at all. You've just taken information that someone else has given you, and you've not thought it through enough, and you're regurgitating it, which the social media just lets people do to a degree that's never been done before. So we're just seeing it in such a degree at the moment where polarization is just going crazy, because no one's seeing information from the other side.
Yeah.
They're only seeing information that they agree with, and it's just getting worse and worse. And it really does rub me the wrong way when I start seeing people just posting or reposting, which is just an image or something or a little cartoon that they think sums up their argument perfectly, and it's like this. God, I just can't even get into it right now. But it's like the amount of effort they've put into thinking about that argument is just so minimal. Or they've just copy and pasted something, or not even that, just 2 buttons like retweet or whatever it is to just meaninglessly just put this information out that they haven't thought about whatsoever. They don't really know if it's correct. They don't know what they believe, and it's just not making the discourse any better. It's just rubs me the wrong way. Oh God,
mate.
There we go.
Mate, going back to the football chat we had earlier.
Yes.
What is your first football/sporting memory?
Ooh.
Because it's the sort of thing that's, it sticks in my mind. Like, I remember being what would I have been at the time? Less than 10. That makes it sound like I can't do maths, but I'm just purposely not telling you my age, right?
Yeah.
I know exactly how old I was. But France 98, right?
Yeah.
And I vividly remember, like, being downstairs. Mum and Dad were watching it. I didn't intentionally watch it, but it was on, right? And I got captivated, and it was the game England-Argentina that we went out, which I think was the quarterfinals, wasn't it? The one where David he gets fouled, he's on the floor, and then he lashes out and kicks that guy, gets sent off, straight red. And he's got the classic, like, Aaron Carter curtains, classic, greasy haircut. It's brilliant. Big baggy white shirt. And, like, Michael Owen also got a fantastic goal in that game, I remember.
Right.
But yeah, that game sticks out to me as, like, the first proper memory of, like, live sport, like a proper sporting event that I remember clear as day.
You know, I think I do remember watching it in primary school where they'd wheeled out the TV and they'd stop. I think I'm pretty sure that was that. They would stop us doing the lesson and they'd let us watch some of it on the TV during a game. But I can't. My memory's so bad. I can't even remember back then.
That must have been about the same sort of time, surely.
Yeah,
must have been France '98 or something.
Yeah. My gosh, you know, I was never a huge sporting fan as a kid growing up, and I got into sport a little bit more as I've aged, like a fine wine. So my gosh, I'm going to have to say, I think it's not a good memory, and I can't even remember the exact day. You'll know, but it's a hatred for a certain footballer, which I still have to this day. It's Ronaldo.
The original Ronaldo.
No.
Oh, no, Cristiano.
Cristiano, mate. I know. And this is when he got Rooney sent off.
Okay.
Winding Rooney up in Euros.
Yes. Was this would have been 2004 then, right?
That's it. Yeah, that sounds right.
So this, Portugal v England, right? And
yeah, exactly.
He also wasn't there a penalty shootout at the end of that game? Didn't Portugal knock us out?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So
this is just this pure hatred I have in him because he was like hounding him the entire time. And then he just snapped and he got him sent off.
Oh God, I remember that as well. And then I think that was the game, like I said, with the penalty shootout at the end, and Ronaldo did the trickiest little penalty, like where he ran up and he gave it a little, and he stopped and he tried to trick whoever was in goal. I can't remember the goalie at the time, but yeah, I just thought, what a smarmy git.
Yeah, I'm with you, mate. I'm 100% with you.
I do think he's incredible, though. I think he's, I think he has been a smarmy git in the past, but I think he is one of, if not the greatest footballer of all time.
Sure, yeah, no, I don't think I'd argue against that. But yeah, I hold a grudge with certain celebrities and sporting icons that I struggle to let go of. So you see him all the time, like giving like insane amounts of money to charity and looking like he's a nice guy, but inside it's nothing he will ever do will ever change my feelings towards
just because he wound up Wayne Rooney back
just that one, yeah. I mean, Wayne wasn't even scoring goals that much. It was just like it wasn't. Yeah. I don't know. So I remember that, and I'm pretty sure the next game Zidane headbutted him, right?
Oh, that was
against France, or was that different?
I think that might have been a different thing. Obviously, I remember the incident of Zidane, but I don't think it was Ronaldo.
In my head, I thought it was.
Oh, no, I'm going to have to look it up.
Well, look it up. This is the problem with dates, names, any specific pieces of information. I'm going to struggle on. You're going to be needed to fact check this for me.
Right. This is why our bloody producer needs to get on it. I mean, he's sitting there looking all pleased with himself. He's not actually doing anything. He always gets it wrong. He never tells us who we're on about. We've got memories like sieves, and he never helps us out.
This is the only reason we keep him around.
Yeah, bloody Terry.
Oh, Terry.
I don't know what we're paying for. Anyway, I think there's one thing we can agree on. The perfect penalty. Right? Having watched all these heartbreaking English moments, penalty shootouts, I say this, let me know if you do agree with me. All penalties should be in one of the top corners, just belted. Right? Nothing tricky, not straight down the middle, no P-rollers, nothing curving, just bang it in the top corner.
Yeah, 100%. The most important thing for me is how they get themselves to the ball. Just run at it.
Yeah.
Just like your life depends on it. Get to that ball as quick as you can.
Yeah.
I don't want you to walk up to it. I don't want you to stop and stutter. I don't want you to throw a stupid pose before you start moving. Most of all,
don't change your mind with your leg in the air. Like make the decision before the whistle's blown, stick to the decision.
Yes. And also always look, without doubt, the opposite corner you're aiming for.
Yes. Just throw them off.
Before you start, point to the left corner.
Yeah.
And shoot into the right.
And if there are any Germans listening, that is a double bluff. We're actually, we're just telling you that to throw you off. Or are we?
You'll never know. What's your earliest sporting memory, but not watching, but with you actually participating in the sport?
Oh, okay. There's a couple of great school memories. I remember playing cricket on an AstroTurf pitch when I was quite young, tripped over and gashed my whole leg open. I've still got a scar there from AstroTurf.
Those Astro bones will get you, man.
Yeah, never been an AstroTurf fan since that. I don't think that was the earliest, though. What else? I remember, a similar situation, talking about, must have been saying to Dad, sports day tomorrow. And he's like, what are you doing? And I said, the 60 metres or whatever, because you don't do 100 metres, do you, when you're under 10? It's like...
Yeah.
So 60 metres is like the sprint category for little kids. And I was doing that. And Dad was like, well, obviously you know that's just a straight race. There's no, no bends, whatever, so you've got to stay in your lane. Whatever you do, don't leave your lane. It's not like the 800 metres or whatever the way they've... I don't know, the longer ones basically where they where they all go down into one lane or whatever.
The ones no one watches.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He's like, so if anyone, any of the other guys running, like go into your lane, just push them out of the way.
Sure.
Me as a 6-year-old was just like, okay, Dad, yeah, great, I'll remember that.
Don't be afraid to throw the elbow.
Exactly. Yeah. So sure enough, next day, lunchtime. School sports day, whistle blows, we're all running, and I'm not tooting my own horn, but I was relatively fast, right? One of the quicker lads.
Oh, yeah.
So there's no one else in my vision, right? Apart from this one other lad who's equally fast, right? And I can just see him like straying over. He's just sliding over into the lane just a little bit, and I'm just waiting. That was his
first mistake.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like a film. I can just hear like a little cloud, a little thought bubble in my head, just like, if anyone strays into your lane, push them over.
With loads of reverb on it. Just
exactly. And then the thought bubble just disappears. The guy runs into my lane and I just shove him, right? And he goes straight down. He goes straight down, face into the mud or whatever, and I don't look back. I'm just straight on it, right? And I go over the line. I win the race. Job's a good one. So I turn round, I seem to remember people cheering, but that might be made up. I'm cheering. Right. And it's great. I win the race, blah, 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 blah. And then the teacher comes over to me and he's like, well done. You did win the race. You were first. And this other lad did run into your lane. However, he's crying. His mum's there also crying. So what we're going to do is we're going to give you both a medal and we're going to say you both won the race. Right?
Jesus.
To this day. Still gets me, right? But I'm like, and I wasn't, I was quite a well-behaved lad at school, so I didn't kick off. I think I just said, okay, I guess that's all right, whatever. But I remember like this lad, like, when little kids have had a cry and they're still like,
yeah,
like this lad standing next to me with a gold medal around his neck
on the podium.
Next to me on the top, and I've got a gold medal standing there with a scowl on my face, just like, this is ridiculous. I won this race. He cheated. Like, he came into the lane.
Your dad was proud of you, though, I'm sure.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he loved it. Yeah, give me a little wink. Yeah,
good. Oh man, that's fantastic. I've only got one sports day memory, and I wasn't that young actually. I was in secondary school at this point, and I was due for one of the mid-length races. I'm going to say 400 meters, but I'm just pulling that out of thin air. But and my mum was coming down to watch this race, and you do like multiple events, but this was the big one, so she came down to see it for some reason. And at school I was all right. I was pretty decent. I wasn't the fittest guy in the world. I played a bit of rugby, played a bit of hockey, but I feel like my my strength was in my mental fortitude.
Nice. Churchill would be proud.
Yeah, exactly. I feel as though I can push my body to a point where it shouldn't ever be pushed. It's not been trained, it's not fit, it's not ready, it's in no way, shape or form deserving to be anywhere near it is, but I will carry on, and my competitive side will not let me stop. Anyway,